Prince William and Princess Kate's move into their so-called forever home has hit a little bit of a hurdle. Now, for those of you who are not aware, William and Kate are moving into a stunning 8-bedroom mansion that is located in the grounds of Windsor Great Park, not far from their current home of Adelaide Cottage. However, the new home has a whole lot more space, a whole lot more finery, and is said to be the place where the couple are planning to live out the rest of their days, even after William ascends to the throne. However, their relocation to the property has left a few Windsor locals more than a little bit upset. Why, you might ask? Because of a no-go zone that has been erected around the property in a bid to increase safety and privacy. Now, images that were published on Realtor.com recently show that gates have been put up, signs have been put up, warning visitors away from the area and threatening arrests should they trespass. According to some locals, the areas that have been blocked off include a very popular car park and an area that was used regularly by dog walkers. Now, one person described this movement as a kick in the teeth, while others noted that they pay $150 a year to use the car park that is now closed off to them. Other safety measures that have been taken include the installation of multiple security cameras around the property, as well as the planting of multiple trees in order to give the couple and their 3 children a little bit more privacy. Now, Kate and William are understood to be carrying out a few renovations at the historic property, which last underwent an overhaul back in 2001. It's unclear when exactly they are planning to move in, but reports suggest that they will be there by Christmas. Unclear if they'll spend Christmas in the home or whether they will join the rest of the royal family for their traditional holiday celebrations. One thing that we know for sure, however, William and Charles's relationship is understood to have gone from strength to strength over the past few months, particularly as Charles grapples with his ongoing rift with his son Harry. Harry recently made a trip to the UK where he and his father had a 90-minute sit-down, and reports about how that sit-down went have been variable, to say the least. Some sources claim that everything went incredibly well and that the father and son are fully on the same page about how they can move forward towards a reconciliation. However, other insiders claim that the meeting caused even more of a rift between Charles and Harry, largely because Harry intimated after the sit-down that royal sources within Buckingham Palace had been leaking details of that private meeting. Still, Charles appears to have at least one shoulder that he can lean on in the form of his eldest son, William. Insiders are saying that their relationship has gone from strength to strength and that the two of them are fully aligned on the future of the monarchy. Many people are expecting William and his wife Kate to modernize the monarchy and bring it forward into the modern day. Now, some suggested that Charles might have been a little bit reluctant to see the monarchy abandon some of its older traditions. However, these sources claim that he is fully on board with everything that his son wants to accomplish. Now, the only downside to the strengthening of William and Charles's relationship is that it makes all the more obvious the growing rift between William, Charles, and Harry. It still remains to be seen whether Harry and Meghan will ever return to the UK, even for a visit. Harry is still pursuing a number of different legal actions in order to try and have his taxpayer-funded security reinstated, and until then, he said that he is incredibly reluctant to allow his wife or children to travel to the UK simply because he doesn't feel that it's safe.
Welcome back, Royal Sussex Squad, the only channel that cuts through palace propaganda, mainstream media spin, and the endless circus of hypocrisy aimed at Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Today, we're diving deep into what might seem like a simple real estate story. But in reality, it exposes everything wrong with how the royal institution operates, and how desperate William and Kate are to keep up appearances while their empire quietly crumbles behind the gilded gates. So, the headlines read, Prince William and Kate Middleton have officially moved into Forest Lodge. The media paints it as a wholesome fairy tale upgrade, the Wales family settling into their forever home. But let's unpack that. Because behind the polished press releases, behind the glowing sources and the Kensington Palace-approved leaks, lies a web of contradictions, spin and sheer royal hypocrisy. Let's start right here. The same royal machine that dragged Harry and Meghan through the mud for wanting privacy now celebrates William and Kate for doing exactly that. Every time Harry and Meghan have made a personal decision, whether moving to California, choosing projects aligned with their values, or simply living life away from tabloid cameras, the British press went into meltdown. They're abandoning duty. They're hypocrites. They're craving privacy, but doing Netflix. Yet when William and Kate move into their latest forever home, the 10th in their endless string of luxury properties, it's spun as noble, as responsible, as putting family first. Suddenly, it's not hypocrisy when it's the heir. It's relocation for stability. It's a peaceful family haven. And the British media gobbles it up like gospel. Now, let's take a look at the facts. According to the Telegraph, William and Kate's new mansion, Forest Lodge, boasts 8 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, a tennis court, a long gallery, and even a pond. It's described as a very substantial house in one of the loveliest settings in the country. But what they forget to mention is that this home, like all their others, is financed, maintained, and protected by the public purse. We're talking millions in taxpayer-funded security, renovations, and protection. Meanwhile, those same outlets demonized Harry and Meghan for paying their own way in California, for being financially independent, for funding their own home security, for doing what the so-called future of the monarchy refuses to do. So, when you really think about it, who's the real example of modern royalty here? The Sussexes, who walked away from an institution that wanted to exploit them while denying them safety? Or the Waleses, who keep moving from mansion to mansion while telling the public that times are tough and resources are limited? And speaking of hypocrisy, isn't it interesting that this move to Forest Lodge places William and Kate just a few miles away from none other than Prince Andrew? Yes, the same disgraced royal the palace is desperately trying to erase from the public eye. But let's not forget, for years the royal institution protected him, while simultaneously smearing Meghan. Think about that contrast for a second. Meghan Markle, a biracial woman, a self-made humanitarian and a mother, was vilified for eating avocado toast, for wearing jeans to Wimbledon, for existing. Meanwhile, Andrew, with his shameful scandals and complete lack of accountability, lived undisturbed on Crown Estate property for years. It took relentless media pressure and public outrage before the palace pretended to take action. Now, suddenly, there's talk of Andrew being banished and stripped of titles. But the press wants us to believe that Kate and Camilla were the masterminds behind it, that this was a woman's touch on the King's decision. Please, that's pure Middleton PR spin. Kate, who has been absent from public duty for months, is not orchestrating royal power moves. That's a fantasy cooked up by palace-friendly outlets to make her look influential, when in reality she's been strategically sidelined. This kind of story is classic royal distraction. Whenever the monarchy faces real criticism, whether it's Charles's questionable decisions, William's temper, or the cracks showing in the firm, they feed the press a Kate the peacemaker or William the family man narrative. It's all smoke and mirrors. And the British tabloids are happy to oblige, because the truth, the real story, is that Harry and Meghan's global success continues to overshadow the rest of the Windsors. The Sussexes have built something lasting, from the Invictus Games to Archerwell, from charitable projects to Meghan's growing lifestyle empire, all while being relentlessly attacked. That's real power. That's real legacy. Meanwhile, William and Kate keep moving homes, moving narratives, moving goalposts on anything but moving forward. Every 6 months there's a new forever home. Adelaide Cottage was supposed to be the family's perfect base. Before that it was Anma Hall. Before that it was Kensington Palace Apartment 1A. Now it's Forest Lodge. Conveniently far enough from Andrew to create some PR distance, but close enough to keep an eye on palace optics. And let's not ignore how the timing of this move was sold to the press. We were told Kate couldn't attend the Earthshot Prize in Rio because she was overseeing the family move. But according to the same reports, William didn't even attend crucial palace meetings about Andrew's removal. So, what's the truth? Are they busy organising the home, or are they just avoiding the spotlight because the shine has faded? It's hard not to notice that every time Meghan steps into a new chapter, whether it's launching a business, attending an event, or simply appearing happy, the British press suddenly pumps out Wales family home stories or Cambridge domestic bliss photo ops. It's a transparent play for attention. But the public is waking up. The numbers don't lie. Global engagement around Harry and Meghan's projects keeps growing, while interest in the Wales narrative is dwindling. And let's talk about that narrative. The palace wants you to believe the Waleses represent stability. But in reality, they represent stagnation, repetition, a PR team trying to hold back the tide of change that Harry and Meghan embody. Because the Sussexes' story is about evolution, breaking free, redefining purpose, standing up for dignity, and using influence to uplift others. The Wales' story, on the other hand, is about containment, keeping everything polished, silent, and predictable, while the cracks deepen behind closed doors. Forest Lodge isn't a fairy tale home, it's a fortress, a carefully managed image. Another chapter in a saga of avoidance. Because you can build as many mansions as you want, but you can't build peace when your foundation is dishonesty and resentment. And here's where it gets even more ironic. The palace reportedly told the press that William fully supported the king's decision regarding Andrew. Fully supported, but didn't bother to show up to the meetings. Once again, it's performative leadership, not genuine accountability. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, Harry's actually doing the work, expanding Centibale's mission, pushing for mental health awareness, partnering with veteran initiatives, and standing tall on his own merits. That's leadership. That's integrity. So when the palace tries to distract the public with tales of new homes, domestic harmony, or relocations, remember, it's all PR. The real story, the story that truly matters, is that Harry and Meghan are still standing strong, still thriving, and still inspiring millions around the world. The move to Forest Lodge doesn't make the monarchy modern. It makes it obvious that this family's energy is consumed by maintaining image, not meaning. Obvious that the next generation of monarchy is already here, and it doesn't live in Windsor. It lives in Montecito. And to all the royalists clutching their pearls about the Sussexes' relevance, let me say this. If they weren't relevant, the tabloids wouldn't write about them every single day. The palace wouldn't keep planting diversionary stories. The press wouldn't panic every time Meghan steps outside. Their obsession is proof of the Sussex impact. So, Forest Lodge, let William and Kate have it. Let them pose for carefully staged photos. Let the tabloids call it home. Because the truth is, they're the ones running from reality, while Harry and Meghan are running toward purpose. And that's why Squad will keep supporting the Sussexes. Because through every smear, every lie, and every double standard, they've shown what resilience truly looks like. Prince William and Kate have officially moved into Forest Lodge already. The greatest trick the royalist devil ever tried to pull was convincing anyone that the Princess of Wales has a say in what happens within the Windsor clan. Please, that's pure Middleton PR. Not even Kensington Palace tries to convince people of that, and that's technically Kate's office. So it was funny to me that some unnamed source told People magazine that Kate and Queen Camilla deserve credit for the banishment of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. The source claimed that there was a push from Camilla and Catherine and a woman's touch on the King's statement. BS. What's also funny is that now Andrew will be living close to William and Kate's favourite of their 10 forever homes, Anmer Hall on the Sandringham estate. W&K go to Norfolk constantly. William enjoys LARPing as a turnip toff, and Kate just prefers being in Norfolk in general. Well, now Uncle Andy will be able to stop by Anmer at any time, right? What's also pretty funny is that Will and Kate are officially moved in to Forest Lodge, which means they'll spend their first 2 months at their latest forever home just down the road for Andrew and Sarah too. The Prince and Princess of Wales have moved into their new forever home, making them temporarily closer neighbours with the disgraced Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. The Telegraph can reveal the couple and their 3 children relocated from Adelaide Cottage over half-term and are now settling into their new abode, Forest Lodge, where they plan to remain after William becomes king. For a short time they will be close neighbours of the former Duke of York, whose Royal Lodge mansion is just a 2-mile hop across Windsor Great Park. Prince William did not attend the meetings last week as Buckingham Palace finally moved to strip his uncle of his titles and force him out of his grand home on the Crown estate. But his closest aides were kept abreast of developments, and William fully supported the King's decision. The heir to the throne had long made clear that he felt a harder line should be taken on Andrew, and that he did not want the debacle dragging over into his own reign. The Waleses were also said to be concerned about the Windsor estate being tainted by association with the former prince. Having decided to make Forest Lodge their long-term family home, it suits the couple to be geographically distanced from Andrew and his ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson, who will move out in January. The red-bricked Georgian mansion, once described as a very substantial house in one of the loveliest settings in the country, is a notable step up from their former home, the more modest 4-bedroomed Adelaide cottage. It boasts 8 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms, a long gallery, a separate staff flat, a tennis court and a large pond. The house is protected by a ha-ha, a sunken fence commonly installed in landscape gardens in the 18th century to give the illusion of an unbroken view while providing boundaries for grazing livestock. The move was announced in August, and the Prince and Princess initially planned to relocate by Christmas. But building work was completed earlier than expected, and the family's belongings were gradually transferred to the newly renovated property, which is protected by a large security cordon. From the Telegraph. First of all, it sounds like William and Kate were not actually in Windsor to oversee the move into Forest Lodge. Please, they have people for that. Secondly, Prince William did not attend the meetings last week, but his closest aides were kept abreast of developments, and William fully supported the King's decision. Even more evidence that the Middleton Waleses were on vacation for the past 2 weeks. Huevo was too lazy to attend the meetings about banishing Andrew. I thought William was ruthless. I thought he was rage shrieking about his uncle 24/7, and he didn't give a shit enough to go to the meetings. Last thing, so why isn't Kate going to Rio for Earthshot again? We were told she couldn't go because she had to organise the move into Forest Lodge. Well, the move happened. So what's her excuse now? Let me guess, she has to organise her new Wiglet room as she stares wistfully out on the 150 acres she stole from a public park. If you're proud of Harry and Meghan for living their truth, hit that like button, subscribe, and join the movement that refuses to let the palace spin, rewrite history. And if you want to help keep independent voices like this one alive, use the Super Thanks button below. Every donation, every comment, every like helps us push back against the lies and amplify the truth. Because at the end of the day, it's not the size of your house that defines your worth. It's the strength of your values. And on that front, the Sussexes reign supreme.